Back with yet another first round series preview of the 2023 NHL playoffs here on the Edgework HQ YouTube channel as part of the Hammer Betting Network. And today we are breaking down the New York Islanders Carolina Hurricanes first round. Who's going to win this series? What is the best way to bet on this one? And is there a sneaky player prop to look out for when betting on this series? All of that and more in this video. Welcome back to Edgework here on the Hammer Betting Network for yet another series preview. Today breaking down the New York Islanders Carolina Hurricanes first round matchup, and this one is one that I think a lot of people around the NHL or in betting circles are kind of looking at as potentially a spot for an upset here. So to help us break this down today, we have Alex Moretto and So Money from the Hammer Betting Network. You can find them on the daily Edgework shows, as well as Michael Leboff. Of course, this is the perfect one to have Michael on here for, as he is with the Action Network for NHL, soccer, and darts, as well as the Islanders Anxiety podcast. And look over there on your screens, you see him wearing the Islanders jersey, the Islanders hat. Michael, I'm going to you right away for this one, starting off. You look at the series price, the Islanders coming in plus 175, Carolina minus 203 in this one, 67% implied probability for the Canes in this series. I mean, obviously an Islanders fan, but you seem to be able to remove that from analysis here. I'd say that's pretty fair. Where do you kind of come in on this series? Is this accurate? And then how far, was this an expected price for you to see when it opened up?
Yeah, I actually thought we'd end up around here, and I'm happy we did, because I think that the Islanders are worth a shot here, whether it's on the series money line or you can jump in. I think if there may have been 3 or 4 people in the entire world that were bullish on the Islanders coming into the season, and 3 of the 4 are in this StreamYard right now, and I think that they make a good price. Like they're the biggest long shot at a lot of books in the States to not only win the cup, but to get out of the Eastern Conference. They're much longer than Florida, and Florida's got to play the best team that we've ever seen in the salary cap era. So that doesn't make too much sense to me. And stylistically, I think the Islanders actually match up pretty well with Carolina. And I understand why Carolina is a big favorite. I'm not coming here to tell you that the Islanders are a better team than the Hurricanes, because they're not. I've watched this Islander team all season. They've put me through the ringer with a lot of their inconsistencies and flaws. But the things that the Islanders don't do well are the same things that the Hurricanes don't do well, except for one big difference, and that's in goal with Ilya Sorokin, who's maybe the best goalie in the league. He's certainly the best goalie in this series. We don't know what combination of goaltenders we're going to see out of the Hurricanes. Puts a little bit of pressure on Rod Brind'Amour to get it right, which I never like to really bet into. But when you look at Carolina since Andrei Svechnikov got hurt, I think Jesperi Kotkaniemi is leading them in scoring in those 22 games. So they're a score by committee team. So are the Islanders. The Islanders don't have a good power play. Neither do the Hurricanes. Matt Barzal's coming back. Maybe that ticks things up a little bit for the Islanders. We saw him and Bo Horvat for a little bit before he got hurt on February 18th. I don't think people realize how long Matt Barzal's been away from this team. Like they played a long time, and they played at a 107-point pace without him. Despite needing scoring by committee, because Horvat slowed down when he went down. So 2 teams that I think want to do the same thing, which is to drag you into the deep end and turn the games into coin flips. So with that kind of setup and stylistic matchup, I'll take the Islanders here as a dog with the goaltender, and hopefully Horvat and Barzal recapture some magic, and the Islanders can get on a little run here.
Is this something you would actually bet on as a fan of the team as well? Would you be betting into the series price? You're willing to back it yourself with bets?
Yeah, I definitely do. Think there's some value there, like anything above plus 170. And I think so much of the season numbers that we've seen out of the Hurricanes, right? Those great 5-on-5 numbers, expected goals, high danger chances, whatever you want to look at, you almost got to scrap them. They're a different team without Svechnikov, and the Islanders, I think, can punch with this team much more than they could have if you gave the Hurricanes one more high-end scorer like that guy is. So I'm not confident that they're going to win, but I'm relieved that the Islanders caught this draw rather than what they could have been dealing with.
Right. I'm in support of the Islanders in this series as well. I think that this is one that they can match up well with, and I think in terms of how they match up top through bottom, you're basically looking at a pretty even bout going back and forth, and then it does come down to goaltending. The Islanders have the edge there in that one, but so, Money, where do you kind of come in and see some of the differences where you wouldn't be in support of the Islanders? Because I know you joke about it online of you, oh yeah, you support the Islanders, think they could make it to conference final, but what is it that's differentiating them, even in a series against the Hurricanes, where you're coming in saying, yes, this price is worthwhile, or the prices are worthwhile on the Islanders. There is some interest in them going further. What is it about the Islanders that's making you get behind them?
Well, I think Michael nailed it. It comes down to the matchup, right? So, um, we earlier in the season, we talked quite a bit about when the Islanders were struggling defensively, and Sorokin was bailing them out, and I felt that how long is this going to last? Like at some point, you're just going to wear this guy down, and like you're not going to be able to get the results that you're getting. Well, that's changed now, right? This team, they've improved defensively over the last month and a half or so. They're playing much better there. Obviously, they have games here and there where Sorokin has to bail them out, but I mean, that's going to happen with like everyone. So it comes down to the matchup. I think that I struggle to see how Carolina has the top end goal scoring talent to push them over the edge against a team that has the ability to play structurally sound, as well as when they do break down, they have probably the best goalie in the world right now. Um, so I think it's a horrible matchup for Carolina here. So I do like the Islanders.
And what do you think about the price that comes in here at the series price? Currently sitting at plus 175, using Pinnacle to find that. If you were to back the Islanders in this series, would you be interested in the series price just straight up? How far would you kind of see it going? Where do you price it out as?
So I was a little disappointed because I was hoping that I would get a little bit more here on the Islanders. So I'm still holding out hope for that. I'm at I need about plus 180 to get on the Islanders, and I thought that it'd be a no brainer that I would get that. So I'm a little disappointed that I don't have that there right now, but I think it could, and it could get there.
And Moretto, for looking at this Islanders Kane series, I know we saw some messages back and forth of you waiting for certain prices to come out. Was this Islanders price about where you kind of saw it being? Is this something you are comfortable with, and where do you kind of see it being comfortable too?
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. I was expecting slightly better, but at the same time, I play this down to even money because let's go Isles, right? Uh,
Right.
but I think that these guys nailed it. I mean, these guys absolutely nailed it. They match up really well. I think this is kind of a nightmarish draw for the Hurricanes. They probably didn't want this, and yet they're the ones who created it with that win last night. So it's kind of the irony there is great. Low event hockey, it's going to remind us a lot of that the second round series against the Rangers last year, where there were a lot of low scoring games. Shesterkin stole them a few of those games. I think the Islanders are happy to sort of let Carolina, have the run of play, whatever. They're going to probably dominate the expected goals. That's fine. I don't think the Islanders care about that. The Islanders have that timely scoring. They have the depth scoring. I think they just match up better. And in a lot of coin flip games, always take the better goalie. And at these prices, I'm going to be probably on the Islanders a lot on a game-to-game basis as well.
Right. Well, we did get news this morning that Matt Barzell's skating with the Islanders, so that's big news for them coming back here. We kind of talk about the fact that it seems like in terms of a goalie matchup, the Islanders are going to take advantage of that. You look at the rosters top to bottom, the way that they play, the style of hockey between the two teams, they're pretty much evenly matched there. But Michael, especially as someone who knows the team as well as you do, you look at Carolina, we could probably come away from this and say, hey, maybe the biggest problem they might have is going to be goaltending here in this matchup. If you're going to look at the Islanders here, what's your biggest concern for this Islanders team going into the playoffs and specifically going into this matchup against the Hurricanes? So you're going to look at a series, how they could perform in the playoffs. What's the biggest concern?
Yeah, there's two. One is that the Hurricanes have played the Islanders really well. over the years. They swept them in the playoffs in the year that the Islanders got in their first year under Barry Trotz. Whether that matters that much, who knows? But that's kind of continued for years now, because I think, like we've talked about, these two teams want to play a pretty similar style of games, and the Islanders just have never had the kind of high end skill players to be the difference makers. But when you delete one from the Hurricanes and then you talk about Sorokin's ascendancy, I think that the floor has come up on the Islanders while the ceiling's been lowered for the Hurricanes. And then personnel wise, the Hurricanes defense, which I think ended up leading the NHL in scoring from defensemen, that's what I think gives them, that's their biggest on ice edge, is you look at them 1-6 and the Islanders 1-6. And as so many has said, the Islanders did start to improve defensively. I think a lot of that has come down to the fact that they needed to basically win 2 out of every 3 since the All-Star break to even get to this point. And they knew their best path to success was to try to lock it down and look like the Islanders of old, rather than whatever Lane Lambert was trying to get them to play early on the season, which looked like a wreck. But they do still have mistakes in this defense. You don't really trust a few of the guys with the puck on their stick in their own zone. Noah Dobson, for all his talent going forward, he's pretty mistake prone, doesn't have the greatest defensive awareness, and he used to have the security blanket of having an Andy Green on his hip, who was one of the most high hockey IQ defensemen. He wasn't flashy at Green, but he was a security blanket for Dobson, and that's gone now. And with Alex Romanov maybe not going to be ready for game 1, that could put Sam Bolduc, a rookie defenseman, in a pretty tight spot. And he was a wreck against the Canadiens the other night, and he's had some serious issues getting the puck out of his own zone. So with guys like Dobson and Scott Mayfield, who has shown really well in the playoffs in the past, but they're not, let's just call them clean with the puck on their stick. Those are a little scary, because I trust the Hurricanes defense to be able to move the puck very efficiently and kill an Islanders forecheck on some nights.
Right. Well, and now for Carolina, their ability to beat this Islanders team, something that we're looking at, okay, yeah, can the goaltending step up? Who's going to be playing in goal for them? You're looking at a team that's having to kind of score by committee now, especially since losing Svechnikov. So money, looking at Carolina, what's something that for you could potentially put your Islanders' futures in danger? Something that the Carolina Hurricanes could do? Maybe it's going to surprise some people, or maybe it's just something that they have built in their game that could just be an X factor to take over and win this series against the Islanders.
If they're able to really ugly it up to a point where you're just in coin flips, right? And at that point, maybe Barzell's not 100%, or maybe maybe they go back to like the way that they used to play defense. Maybe there's like a drop in like Sorokin's play. Like he's playing at such a high level. And if that coincides with the Islanders kind of reverting back to their pre-All-Star break defensively, combined with Sorokin dipping in play, like that could be terrible. Maybe Carolina goalie goes whoever they decide. Maybe Rod the Bod makes the right decision, and they go with the guy that gets hot, right? So it's those kind of things that would concern me, and all of those things are very. There's a lot that has to go wrong for the Islanders, which is what makes me confident in them, because if I'm relying on those kind of things going wrong for the Islanders, that means that it just strengthens my belief about the matchup advantages that the Isles have.
Okay, looking at series bets, predictions, previews, all that kind of stuff. Now, we're still getting some prices on some of these, so not everything is widely available. We have been able to find some of the other series, okay, player to lead series and goals. Some of those prices are available, but not all markets have kind of been posted for every series, so we'll break down the ones that we have available. But Alex, if you're going to look at this one, not a prediction, but like what would be your favorite way to play this? You said kind of the series price wasn't necessarily where you needed it to be to jump on the Islanders yet. Now you're going to look elsewhere, maybe to a different market. Where's somewhere else that you would look to attack, and how would you play that? What prices would you be looking for on those?
Well, it's not that it's not at a place that I wouldn't bet it. Like, it's still at a place where I'll bet it, and I will bet it, and I will be on the Islanders. I just want to see if I'll get a little bit better at one point. But I'll definitely, even if it stays, stagnant at this number, I'll still be on it. I was just expecting a little bit better, I guess. But for me, it's just straight up. I will be on the Islanders in this series. I like the +1.5 quite a bit as well. You can get that, like, right now there's like some -110s out there, and +1.5 games, and maybe we even get a little bit better there and you end up getting even money. But yeah, I'm just straight up just going to be on the Islanders in this series, and I'll probably be on them quite a bit, game to game too.
And so, Money, what is your favorite way to play this series? What's the best way for you to go about this one?
So I think we're gonna go back and forth for a bit in this series, in with some low event hockey. In Game 7, the Isles will go into Carolina. Sorokin will shut it down, and the Islanders will get the win. I like Islanders in 7. The other concern that I just thought of I had was I was watching the highlights last night, and then one of the TV guys led off when they had the matchup set. The first thing he goes is that I look at this Islanders Carolina series. You guys heard it here first. I'm calling the Islanders for the upset, and I'm sitting there, oh shit, right? So like, I never like hearing that kind of stuff, right? But yeah, I think Isles in 7. I will be on the Islanders in this in the series as well, along with the conference futures I have. But like just like Alex, I'm hoping that I get a little bit of a better price.
Yeah, not like the 35-1 I took on the Islanders to win the cup in the summer. Now you can get 50-1. So could have kept that money free for 8 months and just got a better price now. But it's all good.
You could have bet the Oilers too.
Yes.
It happens. Now, Michael, best bets in this series, best way to bet this one. Is it just straight up, or is there a different market that you would be looking to? And obviously, I know that there's no player props available as of right now, or prices available for some of those. But what are some player props that you might be looking towards in this series?
Yeah, in a big picture view, I think the Islanders are a great bet. Any way you want to do it, everything will kind of be correlated to derivative markets, whether you want to go to so money style in a tight series, or maybe something crazy like Islanders 4-1 or 4-0, whatever makes my life a little easier. Take that too. I still think there's value in the futures market. They're hanging out some places 20-1 to win the conference, 50-1 to win the cup. But in terms of player props, you're going to get some big numbers on some Islanders who do score by committee, just like the Hurricanes. And because the series is not, in all likelihood, not going to take a lot of effort or a lot of production to be the series leader in goals, you're going to get a long shot. I don't really care who you talk yourself into, but it could be someone with 4 goals or 3 goals that ends up leading the series in scoring. You look at the total for game 1, it's 5.5, and there's juice on the under. So if that's telling you, let's say it's 6 games and the totals are 30 goals in total, split those between the two teams, and you're like, okay, 3 or 4 might actually get it done. 4 would be almost like you're looking really good. So a player like Pierre Engvall, who's been lights out since he came to the Islanders on that second line with Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri, or even someone like Hudson Fasching, who he's not going to get power play time, but that stuff doesn't necessarily matter with the Islanders because their power play is the 31st best power play in a 32-team league, and they're somehow in the playoffs. I think that guys like that, and I know you can flip it the other way with the Hurricanes as well, right? Like take a guy in that middle 6 that's going to be at a long number, but Engvall and Hudson Fasching, who Fasching has complete trust from the coaching staff. He's out there in really big moments, so he's not going to be a guy who's going to play like 11 or 12 minutes. He's going to be out there quite a bit in the series. So those would be the 2 I would have circled as long as they're big numbers. But like I said, you can seriously talk yourself into any long shot for the Islanders to lead this series into in goals, and I would hear it.
Right. Well, I think that's an interesting way to go about it, and definitely once those numbers start popping up, make sure to go and shop around to get the best prices on those so that you can find those guys at the bigger long shot that is possibly available, the best number that's possibly available. But now we'll go around real quick to close this one out. Alex, to start with you, give me a series prediction. Who wins how many games?
Isles in 6, and Romanov scores the OT winner. He scores the OT winner, and that building goes absolutely nuts. And I am super jealous that I'm not there while Michael is enjoying it, and I'll live vicariously through him.
So, Money?
Isles in 7 in a complete shutdown in Game 7.
Michael, I'm going to let you close this one out. I'm giving Isles in 7 as well. I'm on the same page there. So now, final prediction. Where are we at? What does the series go to?
Yeah, Isles. I'll go Isles in 5, a little shorter than people think, and Sorokin on his way to a Conn Smythe, outdueling McDavid in the Stanley Cup Final.
I like it. I like the prediction. All right, there you go. There is our Islanders Carolina Hurricanes first round preview. If you enjoyed the content here, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Edgework HQ YouTube channel for more playoff predictions, whether it be through the rest of the first round here, as we do have more of those coming out, whether it be our daily show where we have preview and picks of the games that night, or when it comes down to the second, third, and the Stanley Cup rounds. Those will all be here on the Edgework HQ YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe so you get notified every time these videos and live streams come out. But Michael, Alex, so many. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to do this today. If anybody has any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns about what we talked about in this series preview, drop them below in the comments. But otherwise, enjoy the series, enjoy the playoffs, and good luck on your bets.